Welcome back to Cinema Alley, the show where we talk about your favorite movies and their stories. I am your host, James Howe, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Chris Cupp. Chris, how you doing, buddy?
Doing fantastic.
Damn straight fantastic. We're talking Robocop today. One of the most iconic 80s action film. It came in right under Terminator. Yeah, a lot of people probably look at this as a Terminator style film, but you know what? This fucking gem has a lot of meat on its bones, and it has a lot to talk about police state and corporate connections with it. It's definitely a film that I have no clue how the remake fucked it all up because
They forgot to turn Robocop into a Robocop and kept him kind of human.
yeah,
They,
well, like even then though, like that was the whole purpose of this film though.
uh,
Like,
they
don't you think it's like yeah, he is more robo than human, but this story was definitely about a man trying to gain back some of his humanity. And I kind of sit there felt like I didn't get any of that with the fucking remake. It had an excellent cast. Wasn't it Joel Egerton?
no, it was Joel Kinnaman, the guy that was in
Kinnaman.
the Suicide Squad movie.
That's right.
As
I always get
Flag,
them mixed
but
up.
like the remake, I think, yeah, they didn't have the heart of him regaining like humanity because he technically like never lost it because like his family was a major part of that remake and like they always knew he
Yeah.
was RoboCop turned into RoboCop and like he was still kind of like still a part of their lives and like he never technically lost it and we never really felt that bad for him because we never like I mean
Yeah.
he lost his body but like just it didn't have the
He
same
was going
heart.
to get a new one. Yeah. Yeah. It just did not have the heart as the original. But we're going to pull it on back just a little bit. Here, we did kind of jump super high, already tackling and dismantling the remake as I think really anyone should. Like it's a visually very stunning film. I thought that I actually liked the suit a little bit better than the
Yeah.
original one, but I kind of did not like that it had to been black. I was like, come on, give us like the original color scheme. It was like you could add
Also,
black on there, but give us the original
the death
color scheme.
that he goes through in the remake is just inferior to his
Yeah,
death in the original. If no one's seen,
but
if you
but
haven't
but
seen the
you know why
original,
it's inferior? Because you
well,
didn't have Paul Verhoeven
yeah,
direct that masterpiece. Paul does great when it comes to directing, the most outlandish fucking kill scenes ever.
gory
And
violence is his
we
thing, and he loves it.
exactly, and there's so many documentaries. There is the Netflix series of movies that made us that actually covers this. There is, I think it's Flesh and Steel. That's the name of the documentary that's on the DVD box of RoboCop that you can actually watch on YouTube. That gives you a whole lot of information uh, on the behind the scenes of this film. And they're also making a new one. They're making a new documentary, and they're trying to bring back everyone. I forgot what's the name of that documentary, but do keep an eye on it because it should be releasing pretty soon by the time that this episode gets out.
Hopefully,
But yeah, like there was so much in this script that sadly the remake could never do it. But yeah, we're putting it on back. We're gonna talk about the screenwriters here that wrote this: Edward Neumeier and Michael Miner. This is the fourth draft that was turned in June 10th of 1986 because RoboCop released back in '87. And oh my god, when I read the script, I was like, why does this sound so familiar? Like I remember watching RoboCop as a kid. The commercials kind of confused me in between the movie. I legit sat there and thought watching it on TV. And I was like, wait a second. It's all like I was like, this is a very bizarre ad to be put on. And also I have to put in there that I actually saw RoboCop 2 first before I saw the first one. Yeah, it was weird. Big
that's fair.
upgrade, but I also hold the sequel one in my heart because that's more of a childhood favorite. Um, but yeah, so the writing and everything was so familiar, and it wasn't until it clicked afterwards that Edward Neumeier, who co-wrote this script, was also the guy who wrote all by himself the film Starship Troopers, which Paul Verhoeven directed. So I think this is their very first collaboration through RoboCop, and you could sit there and see that they're still love together in the relationship by the time that they did Starship Troopers. I want to say a little, no, about a decade later, because it came out back in '97. So chances are the script was written in '96, uh, '96 or '95. So about like a decade later, these two worked together to make another iconic, underrated gem of Starship Troopers. But yeah, the draft here, Chris, nothing much really different compared to the film. Before we jump into that story, we really kind of want to lay all this out. That obviously we do not like this the remake. Chris doesn't care much for the sequel. I actually like the sequel. It's the third one that like I kind of cried a
Just
little
doesn't
bit.
have the same magic, you know. Just
I don't even think it even has Peter Weller in the third one. I think it's someone
no.
totally different.
I don't think he was
Uh,
available, and they were like, "We'll just recast you. It'll make money anyways." And
Dumbest
it
fucking mistake ever.
bombed
That's
bad.
like trying to recast the same Terminator that Arnie played. And it's like, we're going to put Stallone in the role. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, yeah.
Honestly, that would be a improvement over the crappy CGI crap they've been pulling for the last 5 Terminator movies. So
But like, I'm talking
just
about like like if they would have pulled this shit with T2 or
oh
T3.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
definitely.
I'm one of those few people that actually still enjoy T3.
I think
But
it's alright. I like
I, I,
I like 4. Like I'm probably one of the few that liked 4, just because it does something different. We see
that's
it.
the one with Christian
The
Bale, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
the one that talks about the wars. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I somewhat know my Terminator stuff. I somewhat know, but yeah. So very much reading the script, I felt very much comfortable with how the story was told. Because for one, the script is so high paced, like it feels. I don't know. I got like a bit of Mad Max to it. Like it kind of felt like that, but not so much post-apocalyptic. It's just future, but everything was just thrown at you, you know. But it didn't feel rush. It felt very much nice and very much smooth. And this is where we're gonna go slowly right into the hero's journey, because yeah, we're getting a good idea of what Detroit in the future is supposed to be, which I think by the time that this movie came out, I think it's supposed to be Detroit, I think in the later 90s, somewhere right around there. I don't think there's like an actual real timeline in the draft, but I'm pretty sure in the film uh it's different. But we get to sit there and know our characters here that are going to be in the story. We open up with Clarence Boddicker and his gang are committing the first of many heists, and they are in a police chase scene with cops. You know, we kind of get a little bit of how things are run in the city compared to, oh yeah, you know, crime obviously still happens, but this is how the cops, you know, assess to it. And you know, they're not your normal cops of what was kind of back then in the 80s. These guys, you know, were almost paramilitary in a sense. And even with all of that armor on their car and whatnot, these guys were able to sit there and kill these cops like they were nothing. So we've already met our at least one of our main villains, and to know the stakes that these guys are even willing to kill cops just to get away. And later on, we kind of get a little bit more of Clarence. That Clarence pretty much sees the side of town that he robs as it's his city, you know. And we'll get a little bit of that later on, but that's like a little bit of nugget I want to give you guys. That legit, this guy believes this is my city. I can take whatever the fuck I want, and if the cops got a problem with it, I'll put a bullet in them. And it's scary. It's shocking. Um, to me as a kid, I was like, oh, cool explosions. But I digress. Um, and of course, you know, we shift over to the news media coverage of the death of the police officers. 3 of them were killed. I think one just barely survived. Uh,
Yeah,
and you
send a
know, they
message to the cops of the city.
what?
Yeah, yeah. It's like send a message to the cops of the city that this is my town.
Oh
At least
well,
that's
why'd
what
you
the
have to
script.
sound like Dark Sidious? It almost felt like a Star Wars crossover. It's like Palpatine didn't die; he went to Detroit, folks.
trying
That's
to
where he went.
trying to embody Kurtwood Smith. Dumbass.
Believe it or not, even whenever I see him in this, and I know I saw that 70 show afterwards, but when I see him as Clarence Boddicker, all I can imagine is him looking at RoboCop and it says, it's like I'm gonna put my foot in your ass.
Yeah,
Oh my god, I love Kurtwood Smith, and I cannot wait to see how that '90s show goes. Like, I'm rooting for him and Kitty. They're going to be the ones that are probably going to make that show. But yeah, so we follow to us what is the main villain of the story, Dick Jones, and Dick Jones is a senior. I think he's a senior official at
yeah, he's like a senior
OCP.
VP.
Yeah, and he doesn't really play it very soft or easy with the cops. He flat out sit there and states it that when when you take in that badge and you go out there in the streets that what's going to come to you, that you will be putting your lives on the line, and that if they can't handle the fire, then they need to get out of the kitchen. And
Yeah, very
this is when we
unsympathetic
kind of,
to the cops who just died.
yeah, he's not. And we start learning that pretty much OCP, in a sense, has, I guess, bought the police station from the mayor, or that they've more or less absorbed the police force because it's so understaffed, and they need to get a hold of the crime. They need to get that stuff situated and underway because it's starting to look like something from a Judge Dredd comic book, and that's what RoboCop is. He's the Americanized version of Judge Dredd, and but obviously more on a lighter note because Judge Dredd, while he does tend to do things in the scheme of goodness, from my understanding, is that there is a big level of fascism in his character that is obviously supposed to be talked about. That yeah, he's kind of good, but you know what? It's like there's also some things that we can't really agree with that what Dredd would do. RoboCop is kind of supposed to be more the other side of it. Of it's the good, honest cop that's willing to do anything for the people and to to serve the public and whatnot. But yeah, so Dick Jones does not care. OCP has absorbed, in a sense, the Detroit police force, and there's obviously going to be changes. Dick Jones is ready to make some changes to Detroit, and that's where we come in with Alex Murphy, everyday cop, being transferred over from Metro South to I'm trying to remember which one in the script, because I believe in the film they actually changed it again. Um, but yeah, so Murphy is we get to kind of know Murphy just a little bit. Murphy is not your hard broiled cop or anything. He's a guy who obviously knows I have a job to do and I have a duty and I'm going to do that. And I'm going to
Yeah,
do that to the best of my ability.
in the
He
script,
is,
it's kind of like he's a rookie or something. Like that's how he comes across to
yeah.
me, at least. Like they just need bodies to be transferred to the police station, you know?
Mm-hmm. And we get a little bit more of his charm. And it kind of sticks with the RoboCop character when we lose Murphy. But it's like he learns his neat little gun trick because he sees a TV show called TJ Laser that his son watches, and so he really does do. To me, I look at, not only does he do this job because I'm pretty sure he likes to um, just do his duty for the city he lives in and whatnot. But he's doing it for his son. He's making a better place for his kid to grow up in. And I like how the script has those little minor, small scenes in which it makes them human. It makes them relatable. I think when we all go out and we do a job, especially if we have loved ones, that we're not just doing it for ourselves, but we're also doing it for them, in some aspect. But yeah, we learn wife and child. He has a son, and yeah, he's been transferred over to the shadier side of town. And then we quickly cut right when Murphy is partnered with Officer Lewis, and they go driving around town to get the feel on the side of Detroit, which I'm guessing Detroit in the future must have really expanded if they have, like, I guess, like sections in which I guess not every cop knows the area. Because I kind of figured, like, in a normal city, like in today, I think most cops would probably at least know the good gist of the
Eh,
whole city.
I
Like, they
mean,
may not know every nook and cranny, but I would kind of
yeah,
figure that maybe they had like a better.
if he's like
sense of awareness.
transferring from a different precinct, like yeah,
But he
they
said Metro South, so obviously that had to have been still in Detroit.
uh,
So
I mean that could just be the name of the department, but like
yeah,
it's probably about the size, or I don't know. Let me see.
yeah. Well,
Detroit.
like even then with some of the exterior shots in the film, they really make it look ginormous and what it is. So obviously it's supposed to be kind of like a Mecha City in Judge Dredd. It's supposed to be very very big and vast.
Yeah,
Probably not nearly as big as the comparison to Mecha City, but still, it's a pretty big ass city. And as Murphy is getting his feet wet and in the new district, we go to Omni Tower where we're introduced to the man who will later create RoboCop, Bob Morton. Uh, him and Donald Johnson and Mr. Kinney are all talking about Dick Jones. They're talking about this huge presentation of Ed 209, and that Dick is pretty much trying to take the old man, which is the president and CEO of OCP. He's pretty much trying to take his job. So they're like over here like oh like such and such is trying to gun for the old man's seat. Let's see how this happens. And they talk nonchalant pretty much behind Dick's back, and he's an asshole. So I would not doubt that there would be people talking shit about him.
yeah.
Um, so
He's like
uh
Bob Orton is a cocky young kid trying to work his way up to the corporate ladder really fast, and he just doesn't care about the consequences.
And I gotta say, Miguel Ferrer did an amazing job with this character. I hated what happened to him. I just love Miguel Ferrer. I grew up with him in some Stephen King properties, and so when I saw him in here, I was like, "Oh, please don't tell me he's going to be part of the bad guys." And um, he kind of teeters on there. He's pretty much he's like a businessman. He's looking out for his own self interests. It's very much what the Bob Morton character is. And so when Morton Johnson and Kinney go to this board meeting, Dick Jones is presenting Ed 209. This is going to be the replacement, in a sense, for police officers. Because it sit there seems like, as much as they have absorbed the police precinct, it seems like both the future and which Morton is going to do, and also what Jones is trying to do, is pretty much eliminate the human element from the cops. They kind of believe more that machine can do a better job, and at least then you don't have to worry probably really about payment, but you don't have to worry
It's
about
more
you
cost
know
effective. You don't have to keep someone on the payroll. It's like Walmart
exactly.
replacing the cashiers with self checkout machines.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
much it. You don't have to pay them. You don't have to worry if they have to go home and sleep, eat, be with their families. You just sent the robot on and it'll do a 24-hour, 7-day a week, 365-day, shift, until, I'm pretty sure, like, even in this film, they have to have an oil change from time to time. Uh, but yeah, so there's this huge showcase. Dick is happy. I get what I said there. Dick is happy. Uh, we got to have some inappropriate humor here, folks. Um, I'll buy that for $1. Huh? Huh?
I'll buy
Uh,
that for $1.
thank you, Chris. uh,
Made
and
everyone uncomfortable.
and it seemed like Dick overheard Johnson and Kinney and Morton talking about him. And so he has Kinney be the test subject of Ed 209, asking him to pick up the gun in the showcase room, where essentially there is a malfunction in the system with this robot. And even when Kinney has dropped the gun and he's obviously not armed, he's not a threat, Ed 209 fucking blows him to shreds. And folks, we're not talking like just one single bullet and he's like, he's, limbs and whatnot. I was like, no, I mean, this damn dude was shot onto a table that was a replica of Detroit and continuously was bombarded with freaking gunfire. And again, it's a beautiful visual when you look at the movie with, Verhoeven's,
Yeah, it really makes you
good
miss
sense of humor.
the use of squibs in movies these days, since
Oh
they don't
yeah.
use like squibs that often. It just looks more real. It's awesome.
Yeah, but watching poor Kenny, like yeah, like last our last episode we covered South Park. This one was the first Kenny death before the South Park creators even created this and everything. So I
Yeah,
wondered if that was partially inspired. It's like, dude, look,
yeah.
that Mr. Kenny guy from
Maybe
RoboCop
that's his
really got his
namesake.
shit wrecked. They just spelt his name different,
Yeah.
but yeah. So it's he gets killed, and 1 second, niece and all them are home. So yeah, he gets
Commercial break.
killed, and yeah, commercial break. My bad, folks. And he gets like fucking just blasted, and the old man at the head table is completely upset that for one the robot is faulty as hell. Two, it's like he has a dead fucking co-worker on his fucking replica of the city, blown the fucking bits. I was surprised that Dick just didn't attach a rocket launcher to this thing and just finish Kenny and the modeled replica city all by itself.
It's got to be cost
um,
effective.
I really like the design of Ed 209. uh,
Yeah.
it looks kind of dopey looking, but again, the script doesn't really give too much description really to it. Like you kind of get like a basis, but since I saw the movie, I knew exactly what they were trying to go for. Uh, so like I don't know if that's really like an issue on the writer's part. I kind of feel like that was more they just kind of left an open window for the creativity of the special effects people, which again, I prefer that. It's easier on the writer. It's all like there is a droid called Ed 209, bam, there you go. An enforcer droid for those that don't know what the Ed parts mean.
Yeah, when you're writing,
uh
don't try to overthink something. Just put it in there, and then someone later down the road will, you know, go take the ball and you know, take it from there.
Yeah, thank you for calling me out there, Chris. Not to overthink it.
What?
I overthink everything. So yeah, Bob Morton actually does take advantage of this opportunity because, like, it's the sweetest strategy to knock not only Dick when he's down, but he starts pitching the RoboCop project, and the old man in the chair is actually willing to sit there and support that. But now the only way that this project can move forward is if they have a donor, in which this would be needing a policeman. It'll be half human, half robot, so
Machine.
essentially a cyborg, or a
Yeah,
cyborg.
it's a cyborg.
So yeah, they're gonna have to wait for some poor unlucky schmuck to get gunned down in the streets just for them to sit there and use it. And that's when we jump to our call to adventure. Clarence Botnick, the drug lord, the bank heist guy, he's at it again. He loves robbing banks. He loves robbing banks, and he gets into a police chase with Murphy and Lewis. Um, like nice clear action. I know that there are some scripts where they may get, and I'm not just calling out George Lucas, but where it gets to parts where maybe some stuff gets a little bit hairy and you kind of get a little lost. No, I never got lost whatsoever. Maybe a little bit towards the end, but we'll talk about that. But yeah, like this whole car chasing, everything moves at such a well pace. I didn't feel like I had to go back and reread an entire page just to really understand it. And I'm
And
all like, oh my God.
the thing I really appreciate was like you get to see how Murphy's mind works and how Boddicker's mind works. Like you see like
Yes.
how ruthless Boddicker is to his men, and you see how well Murphy can navigate a situation and outthink the criminals. But like, here, get to the side or pull to the side. Don't
Mm-hmm.
and just he, uh, he shows how well of a copy is. How good of a
Yeah.
copy is.
Even though, like, yeah, the film kind of, or the script kind of portrays him a bit of a rookie, the man's a bit of a strategist.
Yeah.
He definitely knows what to do to try to prevent the least amount of damage to the city, to the harm of the people. He just knows how to de-escalate the situation very, very well.
Yeah.
And with this, Murphy and them were able to. I think it was a warehouse that they. I want to sit there say I think the script mentioned something about a parking lot, but I think that's what led into the warehouse where Boddicker and his men were hiding out, and Murphy and Lewis split up, and they're trying to take the gang down. Lewis gets knocked out a floor above Murphy, and Murphy gets cornered. This is the refusal of the call. To me, that's what I looked at this as. It's like, okay, this is Murphy being a hero, but obviously here's something that's gonna pull him kind of back a little bit. Clarence and his men blow Murphy the bits. If we didn't sit there and think that poor Mr. Kinney got it worse after Ed 209, oh my God, he gets a leg shot off. He gets an arm, like first he gets like a hand blown off. Arms are, just blown all the tandem. He's getting shot, I think, in the stomach. And they're just tearing up our boy Murphy, man. Like, as much as I'm reading the script and I know I've seen the movie, like even in the script, I feel so bad. Like this is such a very well beloved character, and we're only about 20 or so pages into the script, and man, we are fucking ripping this damn dude apart. He can't catch a break.
No.
But you know what? He doesn't stand down. Even when he got his hand shot off, his legs blown off, his arms, the same treatment. Murphy was still struggling. He was still going, and it wasn't until he took a bullet to the head that
Showing up, putting up a brave face,
pretty much. And usually, what is it? Usually, like I don't know, in some action films, even of that time, and even today, it's like they probably wouldn't go that far to have the hero be like they would probably instill something that the hero does feel fear. But this is just something about Murphy's character, as even as he knows that quite possibly he's going to die from this incident, he doesn't give the villains that satisfaction of you scare me or anything. He is like, no, I am going to stand my ground. I am not going to let you guys think that you have broken me. And they didn't. Murphy took every fucking bullet. Um and Lewis finds them. She's shocked. She calls in for backup, and bam, that's right when we get into the Robocop program. Meeting the mentor, Murphy's buddy is taken into OCP by Bob Morton. And throughout a couple of months, they start reattaching. I think there was actually one arm that was salvaged,
Yeah,
uh,
and it
but
was
he
like,
wanted it
get it
completely
off
cut.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. And he wanted more machine than man as much as
Bob
possible.
Morton is such a dick.
He is, because like when I read that, I was all like, "Oh my God!" Like,
They really
yeah,
just
you
view
know.
people as property and not as human beings. And like,
But then again, that's just what OCP sees the cops to
yeah,
begin with. They look at them as a statistic and as almost like product line. Pretty much, it's
yeah,
how long is it going to take to sit there and get the next one out? So yeah, kind of felt bad that Murphy technically had an arm, and I'm pretty sure I think it was the one that got the hand shot off, but the rest of the arm was pretty damn good. And it was like, well, we were able to kind of salvage this. It's like, no, cut that one off too. It's like, what the fuck? I think the only thing that's kind of left, I think, pretty much after this whole Frankenstein experiment is pretty much the face, somewhat of the brain, maybe, and then I guess some of the intestine stuff, because he does
yeah,
have
maybe
to
the
have a
lungs and
pace.
heart and just sort of vital
Yeah,
organs. But yeah,
we fucking thought Darth Vader got it pretty brutal.
yeah,
It's like Darth Vader ain't got nothing on Murphy.
pretty sure Murphy just shits in the bag, but like they don't show
But yeah, so oh my God. So while we're going through this, we actually are fed some very, very important information that will actually be very much key to Murphy's journey later on in both the script and in the film. The whole story in general is he actually has been installed with prime directives, uh, and I'm actually going to label off both versions, both the script version and the film version. So the script version has it where there are three directives: serve and protect the public trust, uphold the law, and then the third one is classified. Whereas in the film version, they kind of split up the first one and the two other ones. So it's serve the public trust, uphold the law, and protect the innocent. And Directive 4
it's
is
classified.
classified. Yeah, what could be behind Directive 4 that even RoboCop isn't even allowed to know?
It's probably
Like,
not
ooh,
important. Probably won't come up
yeah,
later.
probably not. Like, why put that in there? It's probably like a waste. They're probably fluffing the script out. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. But
definitely.
but yeah. So um, it takes a couple of months for them, but they finally get Murphy back online. But really, they don't even refer to him as Murphy. Uh, Only his closest friends call him Murphy.
Murphy
But
is technically
for
dead.
OCP, yeah, pretty much he's dead. But to everyone else, this is RoboCop. And we folks, I know it sits there seems like maybe we're jumping through here, and that we're really kind of like just beating through these story beats. But believe it or not, folks, this story does not stop. It is nonstop action. And believe it or not, I was kind of leery about reading the script. It's like, oh, I kind of wonder like how long would it take to the good stuff, the violence, the gore, the stuff about his family and Murphy getting his humanity back. Believe it or not, it doesn't take long. I ended up reading almost the majority of the script down in almost one night. Didn't help my sleep schedule, but anyway. So we cross into the threshold. RoboCop is sent out into the field. He arrives at the station in which Murphy, did work at, not Metro South, the new one. And the cops are so shocked. There's a whole station that's kind of set up to where Murphy's, like where Murphy can rest and everything, which is funny because he's not supposed to.
Well,
Uh,
he needs
but
to
it's
be
more like
plugged
a
in.
station. Yeah, like a station, in case that there is damage, he can be repaired there. So they're not hawking him all the way to OCP Tower. That there is like a medic station for him, at the police station. And they send him straight to the firing range, and this man doesn't miss a beat.
Mhm.
And all these people are like, who is this new guy? And but most of the cops are talking because there's a strike going on. All that
Well,
starts
there's
off at the
talks of a
beginning.
strike.
Yeah, there's talks of it because of OCP. The cops aren't happy because the cops know that they're going to get replaced. Uh, I don't think they know. I don't think they know exactly by what they were going to get replaced. But here right now is pretty much where they see it. Holy shit! Like this is what's replacing us is this RoboCop. And people have no clue who the hell he is, all except for Officer Lewis, because when RoboCop pulls out that gun and does that iconic spin, and everything. And
He
he's
gets a
doo doo
hint.
doo shooting it up, and then
Is
he
this
puts it right
Murphy?
back. Yeah, it's Murphy. It's Murphy. She knows it. She's like, there's only one guy that can fucking do that, and it's Murphy. Um, and also too, I gotta say, he has the best way to conceal his gun. This is probably by far the best character in any action, science fiction, whatever lineup. When it comes to a weapon, they cannot lose their shit because he can essentially just put it back inside him. The Terminator, yeah, he may lose his gun, but he also has the brute strength to rip something open. Um, when it comes to other characters like that, they always have some alternative. Nope, Murphy, it's like, I'll just put this in my thigh and save it up for
Really cool.
safekeepings. Oh yeah, I think it's an interesting special effect and an interesting thing to kind of write into the character. So yeah, Murphy goes onto its first patrol after showing off the police station. He stops a couple of robberies, which again is some of the best stuff because there's a kid in the gas station that's about to steal some freaking candy. And when there's this one guy getting ready to blow up the damn place just to rob it, and RoboCop
Oh
is,
yeah, they did kind of
you
change
know,
that from the movie to the script because like it's
yeah,
the kid's in there and he's thinking about doing crime and then the cop RoboCop shows up and busts
yeah,
the criminal and
yeah.
just totally kills him and
that
sets
that
the
that
kid
kid
straight.
went that
It's
kid
so
went
funny.
straight to the counter, and it's like I'll pay for this, please. And it's oh my god, this film has such great comedy
Oh
for what it
man.
is in between the commercials, which are obviously meant to make you laugh throughout all the tense moments.
Yeah.
There are these little subtle moments right here that to me they make that makes the best comedy. That's the best way I think you should write comedy. I know a lot of comedy writers will sit there and say the same thing. It's yeah, that's the best way to really put it in there. That kid's like, no, I'm not gonna get clotheslined by a fucking whatever this thing is.
Yeah.
That much they did keep in the film because when the guy tried to make a run for it, all he did was extend one arm
Yeah.
and like to kind of jump a little into wrestling, folks. That's one nasty ass clothesline that would make Stan Hansen proud. And that man did some nasty ones because he's like partially blind, and it's like he could see you from far away, but when you get up close, I forgot what that's called. Um,
I don't know
but
either. I'm not
but when like you get
big on
up
wrestling.
close, yeah. if you get so up close, like how I am with the monitor, like your sight gets blurry. So he just swings his arm, and I mean, he's like he's broken people's necks before with this damn thing. That's what it felt like. So I'm pretty sure that guy right there isn't going to the police station yet. He's going to the hospital, then the police station. Um, and then Murphy goes and he stops a potential
Assaulted
uh
him.
yeah, sexual
Sleep.
assault case and everything, and shoots the guy like right in the damn dick with precision
Just
and
fucking
everything.
awesome.
I know, and apparently that's never been done before. They've never had it where genitalia has been shot before on film. I
Yeah.
think this was the first film ever done, and again, we can thank Paul Verhoeven for this masterpiece.
Thank you for that milestone.
There's so much like yes, we have to thank Ed, and we have to thank um and we have to thank minor Michael, I believe so. uh yes, Michael, I want to make sure I got that name right.
Yeah.
We thank them for the writing, but also to thank Paul for not cutting this out and saying, yeah, you know what, our Robocop is going to have the exact accuracy that bam, he's going to shoot the bullet right through the woman's dress and it's going to go right through the dude's crotch.
Yep.
um but the piece of resistance is the hostage crisis where the mayor is being held hostage by a disgruntled employee. And again, very much like how we talked about with how Murphy knows uh, how to handle a situation as much as Clarence Botnick, shooting up and shooting up a town and causing disaster, and he was able to maneuver and assess the situation and kind of minimize as much damage. RoboCop does a shitload of damage, but he does minimize the situation in which barely no lives ever happen. Like no one dies. He was able to save everyone in that building, and he was able to stop the guy who I think he was like asking for like a Chevelle or something like that.
Yeah.
He was asking for a big fancy car and
Yeah.
everything, and
They were advertising this car throughout the entire script, and they show it later too. But
yeah,
it's just funny. Like they mentioned the election results kind of being iffy at the beginning of the film in the script, and
yeah.
they are able to use that plot point later. And he's like, I want a nice car, and I want to be I want the like I want my old job back. And they're just
Oh
distracting
yeah.
him with the negotiations as RoboCop gets up into the building and is able to scan through the walls. It's so awesome. Ugh.
Exactly. It's some of the yeah. Chris hit it right here on the nail. The guys know exactly where to plant their little seeds in to where it grows. Because yeah, the car, which I'm trying to actually find it right now in the script as like I'm scanning through here. I'm actually trying to find it, but yeah, there's a guy. No, his name's not Casey. I'm trying to find it. Oh my god, I don't think I'll be able to because it's dense. It's a dense script, but believe it or not, you read it super super fast. But yeah, so they're constantly sponsoring off this car, which I don't know. Was
Pretty
Chris? Do you
sure it was
think you
just
can look that up to figure out like if that
what the
was an
car
actual
was.
car?
No,
Like
I
like
don't
if
think
that
it
was
was
an
an
actual
actual car.
car of that time, or was that
I
just fictitious and they
pretty
were selling it
sure,
like?
like 99% sure it was fictitious.
But
But
even then, there have been films that do that um, where they what is it they advertise their cars so much because for one, that's their product placement. That's what probably paid for a good chunk of the film's budget and everything. So they're like, we're gonna put this car as many times as we can, and if we're lucky, we'll get the wreck it. Um, I don't think they did that one with this one.
the
Um,
6000 sucks.
the what?
It's called the 6000 sucks. It was a large four-door executive type car with reclining leather seats for cruising control and a blow punk radio. But
Okay, so wasn't that used in the final battle? I believe so,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, but because
Dick
one of them
Jones
has it,
supplies
and then they
the
blow it up
disguises with
later.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's the same card they use over and over. So again, it's commentary on consumerism and product placement, which really like, come on, if you're watching an '80s film and you know quite a bit about film, most of the '80s is always some type of commentary on product placement.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like that's like so much across the threshold going into Act Two. We have a robbery, we have a hostage crisis, a sexual assault crime almost committed, and RoboCop was able to sit there and do all this within a night and was praised by it. He's the next big thing for OCP and for the Detroit police. Um, and you know what? Morton's basking in it. He's loving every single damn thing about it, and he's putting Dick to shame.
Yeah.
And you know what? Dick's not liking it because he catches him in the washroom talking to Johnson. Um, I just figured out what I said. Sorry, folks. It's been a day, so I need the Dick jokes to come as they normally go. Um, Giggity. But yeah, so they're I can't stop. I'm sorry, I'm a degenerate. Um, so yeah, they're Morton and Johnson are in the washroom, and obviously Morton's bragging. He's bragging to him. It's like you know what? It's like I'm gonna have the old man's job, and not the CEO president old man, but they're talking about Jones.
Yeah.
And he's like I'll have his job by nothing. They'll have his ass canned, and they had no damn clue that he was listening on the whole conversation.
Yep.
Uh, which, to me, being caught with my Johnson in my hand while talking to Johnson, and then getting caught, talking crap to my
Stop saying
superior.
Johnson.
I'm gonna fit it in as many times as I can. Oh my god. Oh my god, that was too easy.
He walked right
I,
into that one.
and his nose didn't hit first.
Oh my god.
I
But yeah,
apologize, folks. I
Dick
apologize. I
Jones
don't
is
know.
shaking Morton down because
Yeah,
he stole his thunder during that meeting, and
the
his
Ed
project is
209 is
successful.
being backburned and
Yeah.
everything. It's not probably going to go through. It's probably not going to go through all of the big production line like how Jones had in line to go.
Yeah.
But
And I mean,
yeah,
in the script, it's like I wasn't planning on this thing working. I was planning on just showing off a model and selling it to the military and making money, the company money. Like it didn't have to fucking work. Like,
yeah. Like
uh,
this just goes to show you what kind of a businessman he is. He doesn't sit there care as long as he was able to sell it.
yeah,
That's all what matters. And to be honest, that's pretty much all with Morton too. It doesn't matter if it really works. I just need to get it sold.
yeah,
You know, but it's bonus points if it works and everything. And of course, the police here, they all look paramilitary. And like what you sit there say with it, like I could have sold it to the military. For one, I would like to sit there and see the military in this fucking damn universe. I don't
yeah.
think you ever see the military in any of the original RoboCop trilogy. I don't think you
No,
ever see any
it's
of
not
it.
something we're graced with until the remake.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the problem too, is that, you could still have talked about the police stuff in the remake, but they chose to go private military in the talks of that. Which again, I understand it's something different, but when your name is fucking Robocop, not Robo Soldier, Robo Marine,
Yeah,
there's a reason why the subject of the state of the police and everything are at there is a reason why that is the subject, not anything else. But yeah, so Jones is shaking Morton down, pretty much made an enemy for life. And during all of this, Officer Lewis and a member of Bodeker's gang were actually able to kind of start jotting RoboCop's memory of Murphy.
mhm.
There are moments like obviously when he comes across a meal,
At the gas
filling
station,
up
holding it up.
the gas at the gas station, and he's haggling the college boy, which he's just trying to study. He's trying to study his math.
He's
That's all
trying
he
to
wants to
make it
do.
self
Yeah, he's trying to make
worth it,
it.
make it big.
And then of course Emil gets upset. It's like, "Oh, you think you're better than me?" And it's like, "Oh my god, I can relate to so much to a person like that. I could relate to that so freaking much. I've had people like that before in my past. It's like, "Oh, you college boy, you think you better than me?" And it's like, yeah. Oh my god, I don't mean it like in such a very snarky way, but it's like, yeah, I
There
kind of
are
do.
people in this world like that, but yeah,
Yeah,
he's
but
obviously offended, and he wants to swing his dick
yeah,
around in front of the college boy, and that's when RoboCop shows up to quill this
arrest him.
situation, I guess. Yeah,
Well, no, no, he didn't arrest him because he managed to get away
yeah, but
and
oh
everything, and
wait, he didn't manage to get. Oh yeah, yeah, he does.
yeah,
But yeah,
he
he
does
blows
get
up the
away
gas
because
station.
the gas station is what stops RoboCop, aka Murphy.
Yeah,
I feel like we should just keep calling him Murphy, but at this time he's still not Murphy. He's RoboCop. He's relearning Murphy. But
yeah,
yeah, the sight of the guy, and when the visor scans him and picks up his background information, it
yeah.
automatically triggers a flashback of when Murphy is getting gunned down,
Well,
and
RoboCop says something that tips off the guy when they first met is "Dead or alive, you're coming with me," and
exactly,
that's a callback that makes Emil freak out, like "Holy shit, you're back from
like,
the
we
dead!"
killed you.
Yeah, and that's what triggers RoboCop. Like, what the hell is this guy talking about? So he like goes and searches the guy's criminal history, and that's where he comes across like Murphy's deceased died in the line of duty, and
Yeah,
he goes tracking down what this Murphy guy was. His
and
past
that's
life.
exactly what the approach is, because even further, RoboCop goes to the old Murphy's residence, uh and he's scanning. Obviously there's no one home. It's been packed up, it's been moved. There's nothing there, and this is where Officer Lewis comes in, because as Murphy's walking through, it's almost like he can envision what his home used to look like: the furniture, the wife and child, um seeing his kid watch TJ Laser while he's learning to do the neat gun trick and everything. It's like he's getting more of his humanity back the more he pursues this. And even RoboCop asks, what happened to the family, and we learn from Lewis that they it's like Murphy died and everything, so they picked up and they moved. It's like they moved on and everything. That's all that they could do. They couldn't live there no more. They had to pack up and go, which is very, very sad, because again, it's like you almost kind of wish, and I think in the sequel they had a nod that he went to actually go visit the wife, like that he was driving by their house, and it was almost like he was still kind of hanging on to the wife stuff, but at the same time it was the sequel more kind of made him let go of his family, because while he would kind of stalk him, it's almost like he was looking at a what if I didn't wind up like this.
Yeah.
And again, it's still fucking sad. It's sad because we all want the best for Murphy, but this is the life that has been given him. Uh, and we move on right after that to learn that Boddicker was hired by Jones to kill Morton. And yeah, like we're not even
Morton's
halfway
living
through the
it up
film
in
yet.
his success. He's
Oh yeah, like
surrounded by
he's got
hookers and
nice
cocaine.
fancy. Exactly.
Pure 80s in that one scene.
Oh hell yeah! Hookers, cocaine, businessmen, enjoying the lavish life,
Yep.
and like you would kind of sit there and think that Boddicker would have sat there and done the same thing to Morton as he did Murphy, because you kind of figured the man really does enjoy his work. So he would really want to. No, all he does is shoot him in the leg, and then he throws a damn grenade in there and fucking leaves, and the whole place blows.
Yeah. Well,
Because
that was more of Jones is antagonist than Boddicker's. Boddicker was just like a hired gun, you know.
yeah, but the thing is though, was whenever Murphy went, really all what he had to sit there and do was just shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
Uh, but he decided that he was going to do this to Murphy, which I shit you not, watching the Flesh and Steel documentary, Paul Verhoeven compared that scene of Murphy dying at the hands of Boddicker's gang as we have to kill American Jesus in order for the resurrection. And I was like, what the fuck? I was all like,
I like
man,
that.
like he had this. Well, Paul has a background in studying the Bible.
Yeah.
Like he actually does have a degree in those studies, and so yeah, that's pretty much how he viewed Murphy. And it's like, oh my god. So yeah, Boddicker blows up Morton, and that pretty much that ties up her B plot. the way how this story is very much written is usually your B plot kind of comes in right at your act two, and it kind of continues on the way through act two, and it kind of ties itself into the main plot of act three, because that's where everyone is facing off, and
Yeah.
they're coming to the conclusions of everything. No, this one started right at the beginning, even before we even see Murphy. We see the B plot, and it just kind of wraps up right when we're getting ready to the ordeal where Morton dies, um, and of course in the ordeal, RoboCop busts right into a it looks like an industrial warehouse, but I
Yeah,
don't know if it
it's,
was supposed to be like a drug ring, but he ends
I
up
think it was a drug ring.
killing
Yeah.
everyone nearly in such swift fashion. Again, the documentaries, folks, that we were talking about earlier, do go check those out, because they really do describe what the actor behind the RoboCop suit had to sit there and deal with, as he's walking and, just smoothly shooting through everyone, and just the hassle of just getting that scene done. It's amazing. And, but yeah, so he goes and he arrests Boddicker, and he leaves him a bit of a bloody mess. Like, he throws him through the glass. He's taken his time to really, uh, uh, um, bask in a little bit of revenge. But even Murphy knows, is like, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to turn you in.
You're under
And
arrest.
yeah, and bringing him to the police station, Boddicker legit sit there and says, you know what? Fuck my boss. Dick Jones hired me to do that. You know,
Yeah, that's he's saying that as RoboCop is thrashing him around to like try to like get him to shut down because I don't think at this point he doesn't understand that RoboCop and Murphy are the same person. Like he just
yeah,
thinks an OmniCorp product is trying to take him down, and he's like, "This shouldn't be happening. Dick Jones owns you. And I'm partnered with Dick Jones. He should be leaving me alone right now." So that's
yeah.
probably why
Well,
he's
that
like
goes to sit
freaking
there and
out.
show you that even just someone being hired by OCP does not make you an OCP worker.
Yeah,
Um,
you're
which
off the
even
books,
then,
buddy.
yeah, even then though, I think that can still be only labeled to only certain people. Like, I'm pretty sure we're not going to reveal what Directive 3 really is, but I'm pretty sure you guys get a really good gist of what Directive 3 is.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like, I'm pretty sure you have to be a higher up employee, like a very, very
An
high up, like the
executive
people,
level,
yeah, executive level and up.
all
Uh,
senior level
and
executives.
when Boddicker is dropped off at the police station, and then of course he brags, it's like, I'll be out in an hour. It's like, they can't keep me here. They ain't got shit on me, essentially.
Give me
Um,
my fucking phone call. Spits
oh
on
my
the
god!
desk.
Again, when anytime he talks with someone, I'm waiting to hear him sit there and threaten to put his foot up someone's ass. That '70s show has ruined Kurtwood Smith for me. I am sorry. You know,
Red Foreman.
he will forever be Red Foreman. But yeah, so with this knowledge that Dick Jones is the one that hired um Boddicker's gang pretty much for everything, RoboCop goes there, and he's getting ready to arrest him, but upon figures out that the third directive, Directive 3, is an OCP product cannot act against an OCP's best interest. Which, see, that's what makes me kind of question, is it can't just simply be any kind of person that's either a contracted worker or anyone just working for their best interest. That's why I was thinking executive level or
Yeah, it's all the
higher.
top guys, top
Yeah.
brass. Like he can't touch those guys because
So,
like
like,
yeah.
really, if anything, he could have sat there and made RoboCop go and kill Bob Morton. He could have done that.
I mean, I think Bob Morton was in the boardroom. He's in the boardroom making the decisions, and so I think he probably wouldn't have been able to be targeted by RoboCop, or like
But
I think
but
he
it
would have been
also
protected by the.
it kind of makes you like wonder, well, then how the hell does Dick Jones know about the directive? Unless it's put through all of them, like even Ed 209.
Well,
But
I'm sure
even
like
then, that doesn't
he
make sense with Ed 209 because he killed Kenny.
didn't he like
And
sneak that said he sneaked that in just to like kind of
yeah,
control.
okay, so yeah, so then that would have to be it. So
Yeah,
my thing is he would have had to have put it in there and really make it sit there and have it where, yeah, sure, against best interest, but also too, like, I understand for the conflict that you had to have Boddicker kill the mentor,
Yeah,
even though the mentor was not a nice person, uh, to kill Morton. But I also just kind of sit there think that would have been something very dark. Of Bob is basking in the glory of what he's created, and his own creation is pretty much his undoing. Like
yeah,
in a sense, it still is. It was just not by the death of RoboCop's hands. Is my thing. Either way, I would think it would work regardless. But yeah, RoboCop can't hurt him essentially, and Ed 209 comes busting in here like a bouncer, uh, and RoboCop and him get into it, and fucking RoboCop is getting his fucking shit rocked. Uh,
yeah. I think doesn't Dick Jones like do something with a little remote and kind of like incapacitate him a little bit, and he's like like on the ground or something.
I kind of think so, but also too, I do think that Dick actually did upgrade Ed 209 with, because I want to say I think that there was a rocket
Yeah,
and everything. But it's the fact that I guess like also to judge Ed 209 will probably use different ballistics judging by the situation. And if this thing isn't human, then obviously it would probably use something a little bit more heavier.
yeah,
Something that probably wouldn't penetrate RoboCop, but it would leave some solid dents and really hurt him. And that's pretty
hmm,
much what happens. RoboCop gets into this huge fight. They're just wrecking this entire floor. Um, but with Dick Jones's greatest creation of Ed 209, this fucker can't walk downstairs. That's what saved him. It can't walk
trips
downstairs.
and squeals like a pig.
It does, and
It's
it's like,
fucking
oh my
hilarious.
god, and just when you think, okay, RoboCop is safe, no, Dick Jones has called the cops and
Yep.
said that this OCP product has gone haywire and is trying to kill one of its own, and now the police are onto him. But obviously, Lewis knows that that's not Murphy. That's not RoboCop. She
Yeah.
still believes it's Murphy in there, regardless of seeing him dead and everything. She does believe that there is some semblance of Murphy in there, and she does save him from the cops and Ed 209. And that jumps right down into the reward. Lewis saves her partner and helps him regain his human mindset. She gets what she needs to for him to make the much needed repairs. Um, and Yeah, this is the closest that RoboCop has ever become to Murphy. Now, he knows of his death. He knows the men who did it, and he knows the son of a bitch that is the head of all of this. In a sense, the heart of the Hydra that could quite possibly stop all of this corruption. Like you can't really stop corruption; it's always going to be there. But in this situation, this is where you need a hit in order to put them all away. Um, and Yeah, the road back is RoboCop gearing up, and they're going to go fuck up Clarence Boddicker and his gang.
Yep.
And this is kind of where there is some changes
Yeah.
to the final stuff, because I don't even
Because
remember even in the script, because it kind of gets a little hazy. I don't even
it,
remember in the script that they had the scene where the guy where Emil falls into the toxic stuff and then he gets run over by
I think
Boddicker's
they still
car.
have that, but like the build up to the final conflict is different in the script because you see Lewis and Murphy escape the parking garage and they head to
Yeah,
the safe location and they're kind of just regrouping and talking. I think
yeah,
they asked. I think Lewis is getting Murphy up to speed about what happened to his family, and he's just like, "I don't really care." And they're hearing about the police. They're what's it called? They're protesting or they're on a strike.
yeah.
The
because
police are on a
because they're
strike
they're
now.
still talking about the strike and everything.
Yeah,
Like you already have like some cops that didn't like RoboCop. Those
yeah,
were the ones that were definitely that came straight to action and like were firing at him when he was trying to escape OCP Tower. But
yeah.
yeah, and then
The
also too, we have the same card that what the 6,000 suck.
6,000 sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's right before Murphy and him are underway, and it's Clarence who's out on jail, and he's got himself some new toys,
yep.
which is like almost like
The city is like crumbling into disrepair as mobs are looting
yeah,
and rioting, and the
because the
cops are
police
on
are on
strike.
strike.
So
Yeah,
uh, the
but they got
Clarence meets
these
up with his
fucking
gang.
snipers that like fire like
They're
I
like
believe
mini
it's a bullet
cannons.
with it's a bullet with an explosive in it. Like it's
Yeah,
supposed to kind of drill.
explosive rounds.
And Clarence has his beat up 6,000 suck. And then he looks at, I think it was Emil that had one because he bought one for himself, and it was brand
Yeah,
spanking new. Looks like it came right off the lot.
yep.
And he tests the gun on his fucking car. He's
Yeah, he's
like, "Dude, that's
jealous.
my car."
You can't have
Yeah,
something nicer than me, you bastard.
yeah,
I'm the
I'm the boss
boss.
here. I'm yeah, and
He's
which
such a
again,
dick.
it rings the same way with the corporate stuff that it even shows even in a gang of guys that rob banks and sell drugs that they're
There
not
is
that
a
far different from the businessmen in this movie where
there is a
Dick
pecking order.
is all like you can't upscale me, you junior executive, so I'm gonna have my hitman kill you and blow
Yep.
you up and try to destroy your product. And so yeah, again, yeah, before we get to like the whole final confrontation with Boddicker, yeah, there is some real funny moments where he blows up Emil's car. Emil's pissed off, and he just gives him a gun, and Emil's immediately happy. It just goes to show you, Emil's doesn't care as long as he has some nice toys. And they're going through the city, they're blowing shit up. I don't really think they're robbing. They're just divulging
No,
in
that
a lot of just explosions.
yeah, they're just kind of like doing whatever until Clarence shows up. But it's when RoboCop and Lewis are they're hearing
Engaging once again, like at the
yeah,
beginning,
they're
you
they're
know.
getting up to speed about the strike, and they're like, RoboCop is gonna do RoboCop stuff, and he goes out into the city with Lewis, and he tries to stop the rioters, and that's when the script confrontation with Clarence Boddicker and his gang
It all comes full
begins.
circle.
Yeah, and that's when it chases RoboCop and Lewis into the old factory that's been abandoned,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much where the script and the film begin to meet back up again and
Yeah,
similarities.
but also too, we get the what Dick sat there and said at the beginning about the cops. It's like if you can't handle the fire, get out of the kitchen. What is at stake when you take the badge and you go out there to serve and protect the people and everything. And in a sense, RoboCop does look at it is like, yes, the rest of the cops are upset, they're striking, but as long as I have this badge, quote unquote, uh,
Mm.
he will do his prime directives. I am there to protect and serve the people. And even then he's going to sit there and he's going to prove Dick it's like you can't keep a good cop down, which to me I kind of look at that's the gist of the story. You can't keep a good cop down. you know he will find a way to bring your
Especially
ass
when
to
he's like
justice.
programmed to do his job,
Exactly,
no
like,
matter
and you
what.
fuckers did that too. It's all like that's the ultimate motivation. It's like, God, RoboCop, I don't see how you're motivated for it. And it's like, I'm not. I'm programmed.
I
Totally
don't want to be
different.
here.
I don't know what motivation is. I'm programmed to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we get to the site where Clarence and them are fighting. Um, and Lewis doesn't get really knocked down quite as easy as she does. Like she still gets knocked out. uh it follows it almost beat for beat, like how the film does, where RoboCop and him are essentially kind of pinching off one by one. That kind of sit there seems to be the one thing. It's they're trying to sever Clarence from the rest of his men, but they're also trying to have them in separate different things. Throughout most of that stuff, I do not recall Emil getting run over by Clarence, and like you get the whole cool gore effect of it's like his whole body is like essentially jelly,
I'm
and like
pretty
he's
sure it's in
becoming the
script. Like,
incredible.
I'm pretty sure I
Like
remember
like like
reading that
they
he like gets covered in chemicals and
yeah, they have that in there where Murphy essentially does like a trick shot,
yeah,
and Emil falls into the chemicals and he quickly gets out.
yeah,
But as I was following it, I guess maybe it's written differently in the script compared to how it was filmed. But I don't recall anything of showing it where Clarence is driving right through and bam, he fucking runs over a meal, and you have like
yeah.
the head rolling,
I
and
think
like he
in the
just
script it's very like it's not as
I,
smooth. Like it's
yeah, I feel like we kind of get a little lost there, especially with the meal's
yeah,
demise. But everyone else is like bam, 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 like they're getting shot, they're getting killed, very much faithful. But Clarence's death isn't nearly as personal when it comes there, because in the script, I think he just shoots Clarence. I think he blows Clarence up with a gun. He gets a hold of it and he blows him up. Whereas in the movie, it's a lot personal because Clarence was able to get some rebar to kind of pin. It was rebar or it was just metal, and he was trying to get Robocop pinned down so he can just beat him to death. And the little Chekhov's gun moment earlier uh in the story where Robocop, shows that he has like this little blade that can pop out of his wrist,
This
and it's
little
where he can
information
yeah, it's like his little
gun.
information thing.
Yeah.
And he can put it into whatever wiring thing, and he can download the files and everything. Like, we look at this like, oh, that's a pretty damn cool trick that he got. I think it's the wrist, or I think it was like in his like knuckle, almost like a
It's a data
Wolverine.
spike.
Yeah. Well, he uses that data spike in the movie and flat out just like, shoves it right in the Clarence's throat, right up the jaw. And I I've read a couple of scripts where I see the ending of some stuff. It's like, oh man, I really kind of wish they stuck with the script. This is the one time that I was kind of glad they did not stick with that ending. I like the whole idea that Clarence is, he's trying to beat the shit out of Murphy, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you like I did, I'll kill you twice and everything. And RoboCop just jabs him with that data spike, and
Mhm.
I don't know. To me, I feel like that was far more personal. Like, he could have did it worse. He could have just blew off a limb of, Clarence and did something similar like that. But I don't think Murphy was that cutthroat, but he did had to kind of go a bit of a cutthroat method
Yeah.
to put Clarence out in the film.
And, I
Um,
mean, in the film, he is buried under a bunch of metal and crap and just
yeah,
rubble. So he has to get Clarence to get in close enough because he's lost his gun.
yeah, yeah,
He can't shoot him
yeah.
or get anything. So he has to get Clarence to come closer enough to taunt him.
But
And
there is a sense of brutality though that like you've seen movies where you're ready for the confrontation. This is going to be great, and everything's building up, and then it kind of feels like it falls flat. And I was like,
yeah,
oh, kind of felt like I missed something. That's what I felt when I read this script here, at least with Clarence's ending. The script here at the end, like, actually has one of the best endings ever. I love the ending of the script, but Clarence's death, I was not pleased with in the script. But in the movie, data spike in the throat, oh god, that was sweet.
yeah,
It was one last super gory kill, before we wrap up all things. And Clarence is gone. He's dead. No more Red Foreman. No more threatening to put his foot up Murphy's ass or anything. He's gone. The gang is gone. Lewis um, is called for medical attention because she got hurt during the final fight and was knocked out. And um, the resurrection is, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. They just took care of the pain in the ass first, but now it's time to sit there and cut off the head of the snake. RoboCop goes up to OCP Tower where they're having another meeting. But right before then, Ed 209 has left the guard, and RoboCop was able to sit there and use that same gun and blows that fucking droid all the shit and everything. Even whenever I see in the film, it's such a really, I don't know. I love the ending when it comes to the film. I love the ending to the film. It's
yeah,
probably one of the few films that I think has the perfect ending, and nothing. I don't think anything can make it any better than what it was. But yeah, RoboCop takes care of Ed 209 with the sniper explosion bullet gun. He goes up to Dick, and RoboCop pretty much tries to, he tries to kill Dick again. He tries to bring him in. It doesn't work. So RoboCop plays the whole data about, pretty much it was all the information used um, that was gonna make Dick look guilty for all of his crimes. It was the death of Bob Morton, if I believe right. I think that was the
yeah.
one.
It's him confessing to Bob Morton's murder. I had to kill
Yeah,
Bob Morton because he got too big for his britches or some shit. Yeah.
which to me, it's all like, dude, you got a fucking cyborg here. I'm pretty sure him being a cop, he has like a 24-hour fucking audio line that records constantly. I don't
Yeah,
know
well,
how Dick did not think that one through. I
I mean, he
guess,
knew, but he also like was planning on having Ed kill RoboCop before RoboCop
yeah.
could leave with any evidence of what happened. So,
But
that's
Dick tries to hold the old man hostage,
yeah,
and it's all like, you're not gonna fucking take me in, whatsoever. And I think he was even asking, "Where's Ed 209 at?" And I was like, "A fucking Ed's gone, dude. It's like he ain't coming back." Yeah, for the sequel, yeah, but not for the rest of this movie. Um, and yeah, the CEO sat there and knew about the Prime Directive as well, and he sat there and told Jones, "You're fired." And he's like, "What?" And then bam, fucking RoboCop, boom, shoots him a couple of more times. But you know what? One shot's not enough. He's got to shoot him a couple of more times because, in a sense, it's Dick's fault. The reason why Murphy had wound up and became RoboCop. It was all Dick's fault. Dick falls out the window and plummets to his death, and then bam, the big baddie's gone. RoboCop gets the praise. Woo!
what's
Raise the
your name,
roof.
son? Murphy. Smash cut to the title.
Right? What?
Smash cut to the title.
Pretty much. And then, of course, our return. It's RoboCop patrolling and protecting the innocence of Detroit. He's still on patrol. It's again, I love the end of the script and of the movie. It's a perfect way of ending and tying a bow. Um, I found out actually that Paul did show this movie to cops.
Oh, really?
They yeah, he actually showed it before they showed it in theaters, and they were worrying, "Oh God, are we going to get backlash? Like, what's going to go on here?" And the fucking cops fell in love with it. They absolutely loved this movie,
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure cops today would love RoboCop 2. Like, well, not 2, but RoboCop.
I'm sure they did.
Um, I don't know how many of them probably actually like the remake. They probably was like, can we watch RoboCop 2 instead?
Yeah,
Which again, that's another great film. That one gets shit on a lot, but RoboCop 2 is a good film. Especially when they brought back Ed 209 and he's like a good guy.
I
I
I
really
mean,
enjoy that
from
one.
what I remember, it had some fun moments, especially when they're testing out the RoboCop 2 little montage
Yeah.
of them like different people's brains and different robots, and like one guy taking out a gun and just shoot himself in the head, like screaming. Just
Well, I think
that
they were
shit's
experimenting.
hilarious.
I think they were using prisoners. That was
Yeah,
the only way that they could get away with, was using prisoners. And of
yeah,
course, to me, I laugh at that because anytime that you see the brain, there's the fucking eyeballs. It's just
yeah.
floating eyeballs. And Tom Noonan plays like the best fucking villain. Right next to Dick Jones, Tom Noonan's Kane, spelled Kaine,
Yeah.
if I believe right. He gets his ass smushed by RoboCop after a drug bust, and then they go and they put his brain in the RoboCop 2, which, I'm like, really? You have to call it RoboCop 2? Like, why not Mark 2 or something? I guess the infringement on Iron Man, because Iron Man calls everything Mark 2, 3, 4, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and it's definitely a comic book film because it was written by a comic book writer,
Yeah. Definitely a
so,
little bit more out there. Yeah.
and even the writer put himself in the own movie too.
I did.
Yeah, he's one of the scientists that are working on the drug. Oh my god, what the hell is it called? Um, oh my god, I can't believe I forgot what the hell it's called. But I'm trying to look for it. But RoboCop 2 came out back in 1990, and again, I love this film. Frank Miller wrote it, and it was when they're making oh my god, what's it called? Nuke. That's what it was. It was a new designer drug, and they even had kids doing this. Like, there's like this
Uh,
little kid. Yeah, like they were selling it to kids. Like, I don't think you. Obviously, they probably couldn't show kids doing drugs for obvious purposes, but it was definitely heavily influenced that they were even selling this to children, and they even have a child who has the mindset of an adult peddling this shit at school because he looks like a kid, so he can easily get onto the grounds. Um, again, the sequel is bonkers, but it's good bonkers because nothing beats Peter Weller going head to head with Tom Noonan. Um, and then of course Johnson, played by Felton Perry. He kind of picks up more of the Bob Morton role in that one. He goes from a tertiary character to a supporting character. Um, which I kind of like that. I like that when sequels do that, where they upgrade background characters that have very minor, effects in the story.
Yeah.
Like they're just there to kind of like actually give like a bit of a fulfillment of like, yeah, this is like a very power hungry, business and everything. And it's all like, yeah, Bob Morton's gone, Dick's gone. It's like, I guess I'm gonna go freaking step in, and
I
I
mean,
think
you
he
get the
does
sense
take.
that this guy he wants justice for Bob Morton because he was his friend, and you see like
No,
in the
not really.
meeting
I
when
never got that. I
you
never
never
got
got
that. I
that.
figured for him, it's all like, you know what, Bob's gone, the fucking Dick's gone. It's like
Eh,
there's a chair. There's a chair in Dick's position. Because I'm pretty sure
I
he
mean, when
because the old man
Dick
is still
Jones gets his
there.
comeuppance, he's like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like also too, I kind of do look at it as, you know, yeah, I get a raise. I get a promotion,
Oh, I didn't see it.
because
I
again,
don't know. Just
because
because
again,
it's the
as
actor.
much as Bob, because Bob was going after Dick's position
Yeah,
because he was a junior executive. He wanted that senior executive role pretty badly, and since Jones dropped the ball, he was all like, I'm gonna take the ball and I'm gonna kick you out of your fucking damn chair and I'm gonna take the position, and then after I'm done, I'm gonna go after the old man. I do believe that all these guys, like, yeah, you can look at it with the good intention of, yeah, my friend died, we got the justice, but I also look at it more as these guys are still vicious fucking businessmen. So they'll also look at it as, well, such and such is dead, I can easily fit that role. Because I'm pretty
yeah,
sure Johnson was probably the same role, if not maybe a role below Bob was. I think
yeah. I
he was
I
like
always got the
a
sense they were just
middle
junior level
management lifer.
executives. Yeah,
Yeah, him and Kenny with Bob, that they were the junior. They were the little group of junior guys. They're like, we're gonna make something of ourselves. And but yeah, in the script here, like they don't do Johnson very much any favors. They're like, he's a middle management for lifer. And then it's like, God, that's fucking hard. And but like there are
probably has
relatable
a pretty
people
sweet
that,
cheap paycheck.
yeah, you sit comfortably. But yeah, we didn't really talk too much about the commercials because the commercials didn't really follow much of the story. But I do like that, Ed kind of kept that in and put that in Starship Troopers. I had no clue before we even started doing this podcast and I started lining up the scripts of what we were going to read. That when I started reading the script, I was like, God, this sounds so familiar. And I looked it up and I told you, it's like, holy shit, this guy, the director who did this also did Starship Troopers. It's like, no
Yeah.
wonder these movies seem so similar.
I mean, if we do Starship Troopers in the future, we'll definitely like it's more propagandish in Starship Troopers because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
the government trying to like influence the the people of like this is bad. Be join the military if you join the federal government or something if you want to
yeah. The
become a good
Federation.
citizen. Yeah, it's
Do you
definitely
want to know
more in
more?
line with the theme of the movie.
That's where I walk away from that movie is all the bug guts and violence from it. And also, would you like to know more? And then like, click here and it would flash. As a child, seeing that as a kid, because yes, I did watch Starship Troopers as a child and everything. There's a lot of shit I wasn't supposed to watch as a child, and now I kind of realize why I'm so
Saw
warped
it
the
at
way
the
I am.
babysitters.
There was no babysitters. It was me and the
uh,
TV. Yeah, I am the well. I know I don't want to say I am the living representation of the plot of Cable Guy because I am not that fucking crazy. But we definitely need to. To me, the '90s had some of the best. I know a lot of people like to shit on the '90s for fucking film. The '90s actually had a lot of really great films that
oh, yeah.
didn't stay that long in the theaters. Like they were sometimes the straight to VHS marketplace. They were still fucking amazing. And you know
Demolition
what?
Man is probably one of my
Oh my
favorite
god.
all-time
Who'd have
'90s
thought that
movies.
fucking Taco Bell
Yeah,
would run the fast food wars? Oh my god. And
they
I
won
do know that
the
they
yeah.
changed it to McDonald's, I think, in the UK because they didn't have Taco Bell there. So in the UK release, I think it was McDonald's
Oh really?
that
I
won
didn't
it.
know that.
Yeah. Because apparently I don't even know if the UK still has Taco Bell. For our UK
I'm
listeners,
sure.
do let us know.
Why
Do
not?
you guys have Taco Bell? And if so, why? I'm pretty sure you guys get the runs after going there. Like it's not really all that great food. It's you know coming from the streamer world too, we always look at it as like, oh, it's something you eat when you're super drunk and like it sobers you up.
Or
And
you
it's
need
like,
something
yeah, because you're
super
gonna be able to,
cheap to munch down
yeah,
on. You're on a budget.
yeah. Especially when you waste most of your paycheck on the alcohol. It's like, oh, I forgot to eat Taco Bell. But yeah, also too, I do want to bring up. Okay, so the whole storyline with Murphy and everything, great cop, uh, falls to a gang, gets revived, and then goes on a pursuit. Haven't we seen this movie before,
Um, maybe. What
folks? We're
movie are
talking
you
about The
thinking
Crow
about?
here. We're talking about The Crow. This is almost the
Oh,
exact. This is almost the exact, quote unquote, story, almost. But instead of science, it was the supernatural.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, like, so you know what, like, I do believe in this episode we have given you guys so much to read and so much to watch. So yeah, definitely do not watch the remake of RoboCop. Watch RoboCop. Watch RoboCop 2. And if you're feeling feisty and you just want to kill time, you can watch RoboCop 3. I really need to revisit that one. It's been years since I watched it, but seeing him fight, you know, android, Yakuza men or something like that. Again, my brain is very foggy on the plot of that, so I'm pretty sure I'm even wrong with what RoboCop 3 was. And then also go watch Starship Troopers, go watch The Crow. Chris, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up today?
Uh, not really. Um,
You think we got it all out?
I think we kind of covered everything. This is a very easy film to go through. So
Well, yeah, because the last couple of ones we've been covering storylines and branching ones, and so it kind of felt good to relax the brain. And it's all like, you know what, we only got one story. We only got one story to go through.
yeah, no,
Um,
I think we got it. I mean, it's a great film. It's a fun film if you're into just fun, gory action. Just if you need to scratch that itch, RoboCop is definitely the film for y'all.
oh hell yeah!
It's a good read.
Uh, oh, it's a fast read. It's a fast read. I guarantee you, folks, you'll guys get that done. You'll get it probably done reading within either a morning or an afternoon, or still even an evening. Um, I just had to go to sleep early, so I could not finish that script that evening. But again, it was fun. And folks, that'll do it all for today. If you have a movie that you want us to cover on the show, do send it to us in our DMs on our socials. Chris, where can they find you on the socials?
You can find me on the Zealous Slacker.
Instagram, Twitter,
Yep, just
Facebook,
Zealous Slacker.
all on there. And
Yep.
you guys can find me as Gothic Storyteller, aka James Howe, on Instagram, on TikTok, and on Twitch, because got rid of Twitter, thank God. And don't forget to leave a review for this. A review. Oh my God, I fucked that one up. Holy shit! Don't forget to leave a review to support the show, as well as join our Patreon, where you can see the video only section. Yeah, video only, so you can see how tired Chris is right now. It's been a long week for us all here, so thank God this was a very fun episode to get through. We get to talk about guns, gore. I'll buy that for $1. Chris, you want to
Yep.
end us off on that?
I'll buy that for $1.
Thank you again, folks, for listening, and we'll catch you guys later. Don't stop watching movies.